What's up, Tech Heart? Dude, we're still on the Omarchy train. I just love this distro. It's more like scripts on top of Arch Linux. However, I've been doing some videos as of late, and the channel's been enjoying them. We've installed Omarchy, we've looked at Omarchy, and yeah, we brought it all the way up from the first version to version 3.0.2, I think. However, I also own Framework laptops. And I was on the Framework forum earlier this week, and there was a whole controversy about Omarchy and DHH, its creator. So, I got to thinking, should I be using this software? Should I be suggesting it to y'all? The more I looked into it, I couldn't find people discussing the Omarchy controversy here on YouTube. I have seen some blogs by DHH and some of the people discussing it on that Framework forum post. So we're going to dive into that tonight. We'll talk about the controversy and we'll discuss, is Omarchy all it's cracked up to be? Should we use it? Let's find out together. Hey, if you're not subbed, I'd really appreciate a subscription from you. It's really easy for you to do. 90% of you guys aren't subscribed. And we've gotten 3.5 times more subscribers in the last few days. Let's keep the wave going. I'll catch you at the desk. Boom! Okay, rock stars, we're going to dive on into all this jazz together. First things first, I think we have to talk about David Heinemeier Henson. He is the creator of Ruby on Rails, the creator of Omarchy. That's kind of neat that that's the second entry in his bio. He's the co-owner of 37 Signals. We're going to talk about that later. A best-selling author, a Le Mans class-winning race driver, investor in Danish startups, Shopify board member, which I think Shopify runs on Ruby on Rails code. He's a frequent podcast guest and a family man. He regularly writes on Heyworld and speaks at the Rework podcast. Okay. Creator of Ruby on Rails. Now, this development platform has been pretty popular around the interwebs as of late and a little bit earlier than late. It's been a good thing. Some applications that use Ruby is GitHub, Shopify, Airbnb, Square, Coinbase, and Zendesk. In 2022, he started the Rails Foundation. He's the creator of Omarchy. It's a beautiful, modern Linux-based operating system built on terminal interfaces and web apps. Think ChatGPT, baby. He's the co-owner of 37 Signals. And as I was researching, I really liked the 37 Signals. The 37 Signals are like their ethics. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Basecamp is another software that DHH has either developed, created, or is a part of. That's going to come up later too. Hey is an email, it's like an alternative to Gmail. You have to pay for it, but I'd prefer not to be the product. I want to pay for what I use. Different projects that he's a part of, a best-selling author, blah, 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 blah. And let's get into the fancy stuff. He's a race car driver. Down here, we can see the beautiful DHH. Oh, man. Look at these photos. Race car driver. Whoa. Look at that hair. Pretty darn good. So, his main claim to fame is Ruby on Rails. Some of you developers out there might use Ruby on Rails and...
Welcome to Ruby on Rails. If you are looking to go from hello world to IPO, you've come to just the right place.
So if you want to make a bunch of money, use Ruby on Rails for your projects, sucker. You're in good company. Over the past 2 decades, Rails has taken countless companies to millions of users and billions in market valuations. Bing. DHH's first exploration into Linux was Omakub. Omakub was an omakase developer setup for Ubuntu 24.04. It was pretty cool.
Omakub turns a fresh Ubuntu installation into a beautiful pre-configured developer environment ready to use by running a single command. This is a way to get people to try a modern version of Linux that not only looks great, but feels great, has all the utilities pre-configured, all the little dot files set up in a nice way that does not require you to scour the internet to figure out all the Linux lore and set up tweaks in order just to see whether Linux is something for you.
So yeah, oh, that was a bad pause. Sorry, DHH. Omakub was a Linux distribution built on Ubuntu, and it was DHH's first foray into Linux. However, after the new Omarchy, I started to see all these wild posts about DHH being a racist. Duke University made a blog post, "Why We're Dropping Basecamp." And it kind of blew up a little bit. So this is Duke University Libraries. Why we're dropping Basecamp. We at Duke University Libraries have decided to stop using the project management platform Basecamp, to which we have subscribed for almost a decade. We came to this decision after weighing the level of its use in our organization, which is considerable, against the harms that we see perpetuated by the leadership of Basecamp's parent company, 37 Signals. Man, when I read 37 Signals, I was kind of impressed. However, let's learn about Basecamp a little bit. Basecamp is the refreshingly clear project management system by 37 Signals. It kind of ties your organization in and lets you talk amongst each other. Are you wrestling with projects? It doesn't have to be this hard. So Basecamp is one of DHH's larger projects. The issue that people have with Omarchy seem to have came from a few DHH blog posts. Let's look at those. By the way, I'll say the main one was the law of the land, which comes a little later in the timeline. But before that, in November 21 of 2022, the waning days of DEI's dominance. So here, DHH kind of started looking at DEI in his companies and wondered if it was for him or if it's something that he wanted to support. He talked about a lot of current topics, and I just don't see the racism or the craziness. Yes, he moved away from DEI and talked about issues, but it was his thoughts and ideals. And people have a big issue with this. Another blog post came on December 9th, and he's talking about Metago's "No politics at work, and nobody cares." It's not even been a full 2 years since we said no thanks to discussing societal politics internally at 37 Signals. Blasey, blasey, blah. We can move along to the main post by DHH in June 30th of 2023, the law of the land. And he says, affirmative action is right up there with abortion and gun control amongst the highest profile, longest running social fissures in America. So of course, the recent ruling from the Supreme Court making its use in college admissions illegal was going to light a political fire. The surprising thing is just how contained the burn has been within our tech industry. How crazy are the words that he's saying? He may differ in opinion than you, they, them, or whatever, but I don't see the racism. I don't see it. I invite you to research all of this like I have and come to your own conclusions. However, when Omarchy dropped, Framework kind of sort of supported Omarchy. They made a Twitter post that said, "Hey, we like Omarchy. It's cool." Oh wait, Omarchy. Sorry. It's pretty killer Linux software. And on the Framework forums, we got a blog post. Framework supporting far-right ruralists. The user Anarchy Cat said, "I'm not exactly sure how best to frame this, but recent events have got me wondering where exactly Framework, as a company, stands with regards to human rights and equality." If I understand correctly, and please do correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like Framework has started sponsoring Hyperland. Well, gosh darn, Hyperland's pretty cool. It's a cool tiling window manager, where the developers did talk crazy in a Discord channel once, but hello. Framework said, we're happy to keep sponsoring and enabling more of the Linux ecosystem. We've also just recently joined at Linux Foundation and become maybe the first corporate sponsor of LVFS, Linux Vendor Firmware Service. We've got a few other sponsorships that we'll be announcing soon. And Anarcat says, so I presume this is fact. Framework as a company has decided to sponsor a Wayland compositor who is well known to be led as a rather toxic and hateful community. It goes on and on and on. And if we scroll down, NRP, I think he's the, not lead dev, but he's the leader of Framework. Cool laptops! NRP says, we support open software and hardware and partner with developers and maintainers across the ecosystem. We deliberately create a big tent because we want open source software to win. We don't partner based on individuals or organizations' beliefs, values, or political stances outside of their alignment with us on increasing the adoption of open source software. We've sent out large quantities of hardware to folks at Fedora, Bluefin, Bazite, NixOS, Arch Linux, Linux Mint, Omarchy, many other YouTubers, but not me, and have sponsored either the organizations directly or events with Linux Foundation, LVFS, NixOS, blah. Within the team itself, personal distro and OS preferences span basically every Linux distro you can imagine, along with free BSD. I am personally running machines with Fedora, Bazite, Omarchy, and Windows 11. Stop doing that, Noodles! I definitely understand that not everyone will agree with taking a big tent approach, but we want to be transparent that bringing in and enabling every organization and community that we can across the Linux ecosystem is a deliberate choice. Gangster-based, like you NRP, agree! Now, you guys are smart. You can see the writing on the wall. Let's go take a look at DHH's 37 Signals. This is one of his software organizations, and they hire people. And they employ a lot of people. And they have 37 signals. These are kind of like their ethics. And from what I can see, they're great. Welcome. This site is a catalog of ideas, signals that drive us. An obligation to independence. We have no investors, no board of directors, no eyes on an exit. Work isn't war. Corporate language is filled with metaphors of war. Companies conquer the market, they capture mindshare, they target customers, they employ a sales force, they hire headhunters, they destroy the competition, they pick their battles and make a killing. They want you to work with small teams. Profit motive. The tech industry is especially good at losing money. Growth is electric, but profits are elusive. We take an old school economics 101 approach. Blah, blah, blah. Err on the side of do. All of these are very empathetic, caring, loving almost. Err on the side of do, a tendency to put off, push away, or otherwise delay is strong. No, act and move on. Shape up every 6. Every 6 weeks, we want to shape up. So they go on a timeline of 6 weeks, not 6 years, so that they can see the end. We don't sell you. They will never sell your data. They will never sell your biometrics, your data. They're not Google. They're 37 signals. 888. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for life, 8 hours for sleep. Come on, dude. They're being good to their people, in my opinion. Not ASAP. The expectation of immediate response is everywhere. Real-time everything isn't human scale, yet that's how so many work and communicate these days. Not us. The Fortune 5 million. Companies are obsessed with battling for huge Fortune 500 customers. That's boring. We're more interested in the Fortune 5 million. Small and mid-sized companies just like us. At any rate, what I'm trying to get through here is that, to me, the 37 signals are flipping pretty good. They support us. They support developers. They support humans. They support being good to your employees. They support you, and you too. I think the 37 signals are nice. That brings us to Omarchy. Got it right there, didn't I? Omarchy. Not Omarchy. Not Omarchy. Omarchy. Omarchy is a kick-ass Linux, Arch, Hyperland setup. And why shouldn't we support killer, awesome, open source software? If we go over here to the GitHub, Omarchy is open. DHH is accepting help. He's accepting other developers. He wants us to get involved. All of the bins are open, free, and ready for you to join. Well, now you all know exactly where I stand. I'm for FOSS. I'm for these projects. I'm not for canceling anyone. I love you. I like you. I like him. I like her. I like all of yous. I don't care where you align. I don't care what you believe. We need to come back to the table, eat dinner together, and talk again. Lunduk is not the enemy. He's just reporting on the you don't want to talk about. I like each and every one of yous. I don't want to cancel nobody. I'm using Omarchy because it's freaking cool. And you should too.
Go, 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 go.